So, my name is Joaquin. Welcome to A Father's Advice. I forgot the name of my vlog. Oh no, I'm getting old. It was my birthday last week. That's my excuse. I want to do something a little bit different today. I want to do like a little devotional. If God can use a donkey, then God can use me too. That's what I'm taught of today's little devotion. If God can use a donkey, God can use me too. It's not a preaching, it's not a Bible study. It'll be really short, I promise. So, many years ago, when I was a teenager, we used to have these live nativity scenes in our youth. So, I would dress up like Joseph, a girl would dress up like Mary, someone would dress up like shepherds, and we'll have a live nativity scene. We'll build a nativity scene, and people in the community come and look at us, right, with the lights around. And we would get real live animals. One year we got a donkey. And I had a very scary experience. What happened is the young lady who was married sat on top of the donkey, and I had the donkey's string rope, and I was pulling him, and he was walking with me, and then the donkey stops. I was walking the donkey with the young lady. Her name was Juana, sitting on top of it was a real life donkey, and I was a teenager. And all of a sudden, the donkey stops, and it's dark. There's no adults around. I didn't know what to do, and I tried to pull his string, but he wouldn't move. I tried say, "Donkey, vámonos, let's go." He didn't move. So, being the strong, mature Christian that I was in those days, I did what any other strong Christian would have done. I got scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react. He was a stubborn donkey. Finally, he started moving. Actually, we prayed for him. We really did. So I want to talk about a donkey in the Bible that we don't talk a lot about this donkey, okay? In Mark 11, 1 through 10, it goes like this. Now, when they drew near to Jerusalem, to Bethany at the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent two of his disciples. He said to them, "Go into the other village." Okay, go to the other village. He sent the disciples around him. In front of you, and immediately as you enter, you will find a colt, that's like a baby or young donkey, tied, which no man has ever rode or sat on. Untie it, bring it, and if anyone asks you, "Why are you doing this?" say, "The Lord has need of it." The Lord needs him. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. So Jesus said, "Hey, you two disciples, I want you to go to the next village. There's going to be a donkey there, a baby donkey, a young donkey that's never been ridden. He's tied up. I want you to grab him, bring him to me. And if anybody asks you, 'Hey, what are you doing?' just tell me the Lord needs him. The Lord needs him." So the Bible says they went, they got the donkey, and somebody said, "Hey, what are you doing?" "Oh, the Lord needs him." So he brought the donkey. And eventually that donkey is a donkey Jesus rode on into Jerusalem to what we call the triumphant entry, or the last week of before his crucifixion. So I want to talk about this donkey today. So the title, like I said earlier, is this: if God can use a donkey, then God can use me too. There's some interesting things about this donkey. First of all, a lot of times we think that we cannot be used by God. Like, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm too young." This is a young donkey. This donkey was like a baby donkey. Sometimes we think, "Oh, I'm not worthy. I have no skills." And this donkey was tied up. He was not a war horse. He was not a big old giant stallion or something like that. He was a untamed. That means he was a wild donkey. Okay? But God still used that donkey. And what's cool is he was tied up. And sometimes we feel like, "Oh, we're bound in sin." Sometimes we feel like, "I can't do anything. I can't serve God." Sometimes we feel like, "Oh, I'm just not worthy. I'm always sinning. I'm bound to sin and I can't be used by God." But this donkey had one of the greatest responsibilities or callings that any animal has ever had. He rode Jesus into Jerusalem in this victorious, what they call it, the triumphant entry, right? The triumphant entry, and that was his donkey. This donkey had never been ridden before. I thought it was very interesting that he had never been ridden before. See, wild donkeys, they don't let you ride them. They're not tamed. They're wild. I believe that's why they tied him up, because he was a wild donkey. He probably kept running away. So they had to tie him up. He was probably really, really wild. But this donkey was still able to be used by God. Okay? So I want to encourage you guys today that no matter where you're at in your life right now, God can use you. If God can use a donkey, God can use me too. If God can use a donkey, God can use you too. And God used various donkeys in the Bible. He's not the only donkey, but today I'm going to focus on this particular donkey, right? But don't ever let the devil hold you back thinking, no, you can't do it, you can't. You know, it's not going to be easy. This donkey, his job was hard because he was a small donkey. He was a baby donkey. He had to carry Jesus. Jesus was a grown man. So it's not an easy burden for this donkey. Serving Jesus is not going to be easy, but it's going to be worthwhile. Okay? One of my favorite Bible says is, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as your labor is not in vain. So the Bible, with that verse, it says, hey, it's not going to be easy. That's what's insinuating. But your labor is not in vain. So this donkey, he had a heavy job to do because he was carrying an adult man, Jesus. And not only that, it was a scary job because, see, he didn't take Jesus into the quiet wilderness, all by himself in the dark, quiet area. No. There was a giant parade of thousands of people in Jerusalem welcoming Jesus. And also soldiers, Romans, and everybody else. So it was a really, really crowded, really, really loud scenario. So I'm sure a wild donkey for a wild donkey like him or her, it would have been a scary scenario. So when we take a step of faith to serve God, it is not promised to be easy. It could be a heavy load sometimes. It might be a little bit scary. We might enter a situation we've never seen or heard. That's where faith comes in. Situations we're not used to, but it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. So I want to encourage you. I want to keep this short. Again, it's just a blog. I want to encourage you that if God can use a donkey, God can use me too. If God can use a donkey, God can use you too. Okay, don't limit yourself. Don't say I can't. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. This donkey was the most least of all the field animals, but God used him, and he had the great privilege of carrying Jesus into Jerusalem. And likewise, we have the great privilege of carrying Jesus into wherever we're at, into our workplace, our cities, our schools, our jobs, our neighborhoods. We carry Jesus with us wherever we go. We have that great privilege. So it's okay if you've never been used of God. This donkey was never used by nobody. He was a wild donkey. He was tied up. But God can still use you. It's okay if you're afraid. God can still use you. It's okay if you've never done it before. God can still use you. It's okay if you think you're too young. This is a baby donkey. God can still use you. And there's only one requirement to be used by God. You see, there's only one thing that donkey had to do. He had to submit to Jesus. Because when he rode Jesus into Jerusalem, the donkey stopped being a wild donkey, and he submitted, and he did his calling of carrying Jesus in. Unlike the donkey from the 1980s that I had, who did not want to move, this one did move. So, anyways, God bless you. Thank you for supporting a father's vlog. Father's advice. I don't know the name of the vlog, and I'm so sorry. Since I got older, I'm getting forgetful. But thank you for supporting my vlog. Don't forget to repost. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you all. I love you all. And never, ever forget this. If God can use a donkey, God can use me too. If God can use a donkey, He can use you too. And how many people are going to be in heaven because you were faithful like that donkey was?